All right. Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday. I would like to call today's Recreation Committee meeting to order. Today is March 24th, 2025 at 4 p.m. If we can just have a brief moment of silence, and then we'll get started. Amen. All right. Do I have a motion to approve the February 24th, 2025 minutes?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. The ayes have it. Public participation. Do we have anyone signed up to speak?
No, no one signed up to speak.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. All right. So I had some requests to keep the old business on, but I am going to, just to keep it, there's a lot on this agenda, so I'm going to try to go quickly. For A and B, I know there's only three of us here, but the recreation ordinance review update and the recreation commission appointments and meeting schedule. I know there has been some discussion, but here are my thoughts. I would like to ask this committee to maybe direct legal to look at our ordinance and talk about the Recreation Commission. I'd like to see an appointment from each district. If every district had an appointment on that commission and the commission met regularly, had a vice chair, and then just reported out to this committee, maybe quarterly, I think that could go a long way within the city. So I don't know how y'all feel about it. I know it's just three of us, but any thoughts? Or okay, if I make a motion, is anyone opposed to that?
And the motion is just for legal to review to see if that's feasible.
Yeah, just to maybe update we have a current ordinance. I don't know if anyone from legal has it. If you can share it with the committee, that might be helpful. But if this committee feels that the commission could be helpful, I think that's what I'm looking for. I know we are sort of that point of contact for each district, but we have a lot of parks and we have different people in different parks doing different things. We have pickleballers, we have rugby, we have ultimate frisbee in all areas. And I just think that the Recreation Commission could be a really vital tool to help this committee moving forward.
Yeah, I'll second that.
So if there's no opposition, I would like to direct legal to maybe just take a look at the ordinance, maybe see about updating it, discuss it with the mayor's office, and then bring it back next month.
Happy to do that.
Okay. Do I need to make a motion, Ms. Copeland, or?
No, ma'am, I don't think you guys need to make a motion. We'll print it out and take it and have a discussion with the mayor. But your specific request is regarding the commission itself and the makeup?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I would, unless there's opposition or any change, any other direction. I mean, we already have a commission. We already, you know what I mean? It's just really updating it and getting it. I know there's been some discussion. It hasn't been very active in the past, but I think we are already sitting and waiting on some people have already applied. So I think if every district could maybe appoint someone and we could utilize those applications or other, just updating it to maybe include each council member makes an appointment and they have a chair and a meeting schedule and then report to this committee quarterly.
Yeah, I'm certainly open to discussion on that. The only concern I would have is we're also in the process of amending a lot of commissions because that have an appointment for every council member because we can't get appointments in some cases. So, or council members can't find people to serve. So that's my only caution. The other thing I would say, you get a commission over 13 and it gets to be a little less productive in my experience, but I do think this could be a very valuable platform, if you will, for people that care about our parks. So I'm certainly open to discussing it with broader council, and I will get with legal.
Okay, great. Thank you. Moving on, do we have any on 4C, volunteer participant surveys. I don't know if that would be recreation. So do we have any?
Sure. Yes, Councilmember Parker. At the end of the winter youth sports season, which we've just finished, we had about 3,000 kids that participated in that season. We did surveys out and had 436 that returned back into us that gave us comments. It's about a 15% turn-in rate, which is not bad for a participation survey. For the most part, we got pretty good remarks, we did get hammered in not having enough gymnasiums to allow our children to have more practices during the season for skill development, which is something we hear every season. I got a lot of comments on how good some coaches were. I got a couple of comments on some coaches that maybe weren't as good. And our coordinators will be meeting with those coaches and talking to them about some of the feedback we got from parents in terms of their communication styles or the fact that they couldn't do everything they said they were going to do. So we got some good information back, but overall it was a very good season. People think our programs are priced at a good place and that it gives them and their family a great value. So we did do that. We'll be doing it for the spring surveys, as well.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Is there any way, I mean, how would we look at, I mean, you just go through all 400 of them, or do you have someone compile?
So yes, that's a great question. We compile them by each geographic area. So each of those coordinators compile them for, in this case, everybody that did basketball and everybody that did the flag football season went ahead and combined all of their comments. So you see a percentage of things, you know, how many people gave us a 3, 4, or 5, which is good, above average, great, you know, in terms of the fee structure. So that was like 95%. Every now and then you get 1 or 2 people that are like, no, you charge too much. But you know, that's how we compile them, is looking at them that way. And yes, the biggest thing is where we ask people to share their comments, not just giving us some feedback on scores, but tell us about your coach. I'm not trying to, you know, run off Coach Johnny, but if we need to work with Coach Johnny and he wants to coach again, maybe we can help him by how you organize a practice. We heard some feedback from some of your parents that they didn't know about practices in a timely manner, some things like that. So it does give us some opportunities to give our coaches and our volunteers some real direct feedback. If we don't want someone to coach again because of problems, it also gives us some documentation to say that we're going to ask that you not volunteer to coach again. So yes, it does help us because parents will share that kind of information with us.
Okay. Can you share that data? Is there a way that you can share
Sure.
that data? Everyone may not be interested in seeing that, but I certainly am, just
Sure.
especially thinking about facilities, field availability,
Yep.
you know, things like that.
Yep. So across the board, we got hammered every place in not having enough gymnasium space. So it wasn't just James Island. We got hammered in West Ashley, downtown, and Daniel Island and of course, Johns Island has no gym. So we would have been hammered there too. So yes, it really goes along the geographic areas of things like that. But yes, I'm happy to compile that and send it to you, Councilmember Parker.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't see any hands, so I'll move on. QR codes or anything that we have initiated at city parks to provide kind of that additional feedback, have we made any movement on that, or no? I'm not hearing anything. Again, I don't know if this committee, if that's something you want to see. I know other council members have asked me for that as well. I don't see why we wouldn't have the technology or the ability to implement that at some of these parks, just to get some of that feedback. I know that we have a citizen services page, you know, maybe we can just create a QR code and stick these up at some of our community parks, especially some of the ones that we don't have staff at regularly. Is that something? I keep saying the committee. I mean, it's just me, Jim, and Kevin. So I'm putting y'all on the spot, Jim and Kevin, but or Councilmember Shealy and Councilmember McBride. I don't know if that's something, again, that we can sort of help direct staff to do, if you think that would be helpful or not.
I mean, it sounds like it'd be a constituent scanning the QR code to find out information about the park and give feedback and things like that, basically.
Yeah. That's it. Pretty basic.
Yeah, and that kind of automation would be good. Yeah.
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 Well,
And we've made a request to IT to get the feasibility of that, and I don't believe we've heard back, to be honest, so let me check on that.
We haven't, Mayor, this is Liz. I need to follow up on that with IT.
okay. We'll check back in April. All right, moving on. I think the Longborough Dock discussion, I don't think that council member is here. He may have gotten answers already, but I didn't know if anyone wanted to touch on that or just speak with the council member.
Julia, do you have an update?
Well, actually, we communicated the mayor's offer to just give the neighborhood association a share toward the construction. We spoke to their lawyer, and the board has not officially met yet to actually discuss it or vote on it yet. So we have not heard back from the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, the landscaping at James Lewis Apartments and Cleveland Street. This is still old business. Any update?
We've added that to our list to do a landscape plan for the James Lewis Apartments. Julie and I have spoken about the Cleveland Street landscape. It's the Citadel's frontage of their baseball stadium, and that goes along with H, which is the same property, but their wall.
Okay.
And
Okay.
with Councilman Gregory's request, and I think it's a good one. We made an inquiry to get in with the Citadel to discuss that, because it's, as Jason pointed out, it's their property, but we have, I'm not sure if that meeting's been scheduled or not with you.
Okay. Well, great. And I'm sure there are cadets that would be happy to help with that. I can only imagine. All right. Martin Park and James Lewis Complex, again, old business.
Yeah, I think the James Lewis perhaps is the same as the landscaping status, and the Martin Park project is on the TIF list for a park renovation, park house expansion.
Okay. Well, I hope that will answer the council members' questions who had them about that. All right, moving on to new business, capital projects updates.
So if it's okay with everyone, I'll do as I did the last couple of meetings. I'll share my screen, and what I have is capital and maintenance all in one document, and I'll just go through the districts and touch base on all of the current initiatives and work that we've done over the past month since our last meeting, if that works.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, so let me share screen number 1. And I'll try to do these. I won't read them word for word, but let's see. But I'll give the overview, and please ask any questions as they come up. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so alphabetically, Danielle and Cainhoy. So we have a project that we're working on to do a little creek crossing with a pedestrian bike bridge. It's much smaller than the other one we're working on. It's an SCDOT grant funded project. Bids were received. They've been sent to the DOT for concurrence and approval. We're still waiting to hear back. Hopefully we'll have a construction for that project in the next 60 days to your council agenda. Governor's Park drainage system, again, still in review at DES, which was former DHEC. Design team continues to check back to get a status on that review. And then some routine maintenance, gym wall issue. We repaired the wall, painted it, have a little bit of a gutter issue that we have a contractor responding to, and then some equipment replacement and some plumbing repairs. Moving on to James Island, Pemberton Park. We have the contractor has underway, installed tree protection, erosion controls, and temporary construction driveways. Demolition scope continues and the project is moving along. Community restrooms, hooray. We've got a confirmed building set date for April 3rd, and all the rough-in plumbing and electrical inspections have been approved. Harborview Fort Johnson Road Park. So we're working on some cost estimates to complete a second phase of that park based on the pickleball requests. When the park was constructed, there was phase 1 tennis courts that was always designed to have more courts. So we're evaluating the opportunity to add some pickleball courts there. Plymouth Park and Riverland Terrace, playground replacements completed. Parking lot work has been completed with ADA access, with the fence and bollards, new park signs, mulch and buffer plantings complete. So if you haven't been by Plymouth Park, you know, the neighborhood came together and they kind of spearheaded a group of folks, and it's been a couple of years, but it's been an extremely a successful private-public partnership there. The soft opening, I heard that there were parking issues, but the only thing better than a park is a park with people in it. So kudos to everybody that participated in that. And then some maintenance updates. We did some grading over at Bayview parking lot and range lights at Muni Golf. And then a number of different projects that have been completed over at James Allen Rec Center. We've demoed and repaired all of the trip hazard and route issues and the sidewalks heading back to the back of the park. Painted the concession stand and restroom building, foul poles, pressure washed the main building, new balance beam installed inside, AC unit repairs, and new metal roof is on order for those concession buildings, for the concession building. And then kind of capital project related, and this is very similar to the W.L. Stevens project. The new Johns Island Rec Center, we had a visioning session with the mayor, design team, and a number of city staff. And then we've got an initial contract with the design team to start developing some architectural style ideas, test fitting a full program. So we'll use that information as we get our contract fully engaged through city council to set up the community engagement process that we can get feedback from the public on.
Jason, do we have I sent an email about this today when I got an initial schematic proposed site plans for both W.L. Stevens and Johns Island. Want to land on that pretty quickly.
Yeah, we've got some like box and bubble diagrams that we're working through, like the full wish list programming from the recreation department to see how those test fits work. So we'll have something soon to review. But we wanted to have
Have you had any contacts with the neighboring property owner on Johns Island and setting up a meeting there? Or am I on that?
You talking about with Dr. Ross?
Yes.
I've reached out to the office and haven't heard back since they canceled that first meeting, but I'll try again.
All right, we might need to send them some certified mail if they're not going to. They seem to be avoiding us. So
yeah, I'll take one more pass, but I don't disagree for sure.
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, let's keep moving through. And if you have any more questions on that. So construction manager at risk selection committees held for both Johns Island, W.L. Stevens, shortlisted candidates, trying to get those scheduled the first, second week of April. With the selection committee, a little update on the Johns Island Park, Charleston County School District project. Temporary certificate of occupancies were issued for fields 1 and 3 for practice and games. Project is not complete. We've been told that CCSD is hiring additional contractors to come in and try to get some of this work completed that they haven't been successful at getting completed yet. Some roadway damage from the haul trucks. We're working with the CCSD contractor to get that work, those potholes repaired. And then not too long ago, we had a plumbing issue pop up at the restroom building that was not part of the school district project, but they are scoping and removing some concrete to figure out if they damaged it during construction, and then they'll be repairing that as that gets scoped and cambered. I believe they cut out some concrete today, and they're trying and digging down to that sewer line to figure out what the blockage is. So the restrooms are not currently operational. And then we replaced water heater in the concession stand. Moving on, West Ashley, W.L. Stevens Forest Park, same update as I did for Johns Island Rec, in that visioning session completed, working on architectural style types, test fitting the full program, and then having the selection committee for the construction manager at risk. Some other initiatives we're working on: Mary Utsi Playground, looking at a full upgrade of the playground equipment there, and pickleball expansion and parking lot upgrades. These are all projects that were identified in the Parks and Rec master plan, and that one actually has funding associated with it already on the capital improvement plan. And so we're trying to get that queued up for some action. Park Shore Park, like same thing as the Mary Utsi and Harborview Fort Johnson. Based on the mayor's direction, we're really trying to address some of this deficit of pickleball courts. So trying to get those projects queued up and funded so we can get the work underway. West Ashley Bikeway, this is a project to resurface some of the original parts of the bikeway. Again, similar update to last time, in the queue for a resubmittal to TRC based on the stormwater comments. General maintenance, Bees Landing Rec Center, roof replacement over the lobby and office complexes, painted the foul poles at West Ashley Park.
Councilmember Waring, did you want to jump in or wait till the end?
I'll wait till the end. I'll wait till
Okay.
And then to the
Actually,
peninsula.
Mr. Consberg,
Yes.
quick question. If you scroll up, the roof at the Bees Landing Rec, when was that built? The roof replacement?
That's a good question. It was probably 2010, 2011. It was a little bit before my time. I think there was some roof leaking. It's just a shingle roof on that part of the building.
Was any of that, I mean, I'm just curious, did we have to pay that in full, or was anything, warranted by the contractor on that?
It would have been outside of any warranty period.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And then continued working on the trying to get the foundations designed to comply with the Army Corps of Engineers landfill cap requirements down at Brittlebank Park. The goal there is to renovate and replace that fully accessible destination playground that has pretty central to the city. So that one's been ongoing for a little while, again, going through the Army Corps of Engineer process. Julia updated on Longborough Dock. Shaw Center, 60% complete, hoping for substantial completion on 6/2, get that facility back operational. And then general maintenance items, window replacement down at Hazel Parker Playground House, working with the BAR to get that work approved. Repair a roof leak down at Christopher Center, flush valves replaced, and then another shower valve issue down at MLK got repaired. Then other items around the city, we have our indefinite delivery contract awarded to Sports Services Pros. So that'll give us the ability to do this work for 1 year plus 4, not go through the bidding process, so we can get court resurfacing completed a little bit more efficiently than having to bid it out every single time. All the locations are listed here as provided through a recreation department. They keep the master list and try to identify the most needed repaints, and that's where that list come from. And then last but not least, ball field maintenance, 233 ball field drags, 29 baseball game and softball games in those 233 jags, plus all of the practices, 89 new layouts for spring sports, more to come. That's over 9 athletic fields and complexes, multi-age youth soccer and ultimate frisbee mostly. 239 repaints of that grass. So of course, when rain and as the grass starts mowing, you cut the paint away, so we repaint them all the time. Weekly inspections at Stony Field, 2 brushes and grooms on the synthetic turf there. Completed all pre-emergent herbicide applications, and currently applying the ant bait. Hopefully we'll take care of some mole crickets at the same time. Completed all of our annual soil tests, so we know how to properly fertilize. And what we're doing, we've been doing this for a couple of years. We're trying to get away from man-made NPK products, and the organic industry has come a long way over the last 10 years. So we've done some small tests with some basically it's like algae and organic materials. So we're going to step that up a little bit, and hopefully the goal is to, as best as we can, rid ourselves of those non-organic materials that stick around on the earth for longer than we know. So that's a good thing. We'll keep you posted on that. Irrigation audits continue. Citywide, that's all athletic fields in every park. A lot of irrigation systems, getting those all up and running. Mowing every 3 to 4 days on our athletic fields, and then started some calcined clay replacement at James Island Rec, and we'll continue through our other ball fields as that material comes in. So that's a lot of information.
No, great.
For any questions that you might have.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Waring?
Yeah, thanks. That was some good information. Can you go back to the bikeway and the TRC thing? Is this like the last time through, or I mean, like going
That's the goal. Yes.
Okay. Now, I know we changed the path for that when we bought the old Money Man pawn shop, green buildings, and tore them down and did the little zigzag. Have we given up on that little, I don't know, was some kind of landscape attraction as it had the bikeway continue straight to Walpole Road? Where is that?
Yeah, so there's a county project for the intersection work, but we were talking about creating somewhat of a gateway to the bikeway at one point in time, and that was before the Limehouse parcel came into play, and so their ownership kind of takes that over, and then we get a new alignment of the bikeway along 17 to the intersection there. So it's it's a little bit out of play now, if that's what you're asking about.
Okay. So once through TRC, what's the next step?
We get a permit and we go out to bid.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. And thank you for all that great information. Correct me if I'm wrong. We have 1 or 2 staff members that line all of our fields citywide, correct? Is that still the case?
Yes, it's the 2, and then we kind of supplement them with some temp labor, but the 2 guys are in charge of that. Yes.
Yeah. Well, kudos to them. I mean, the fields look great, and I see them out there with the robot, and I mean that's a lot of ground to cover, literally. So
the robots help tremendously, because you don't have to you go out there, you get your GPS coordinates uploaded to the satellite, and then the robot does all the work. It's pretty amazing to watch it.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild. Well, kudos to them. All right. Well, thank you for that. Moving on, recreation, spring and summer programming updates.
Yes, ma'am. So we have, this Saturday was the first day of spring sports for us. We've got almost 5,500 kids playing spring youth sports throughout the city. You'll see us on soccer fields and baseball fields and softball fields and running track, and that doesn't include the 1,500 kids that are playing elementary, middle school tennis right now. So they're probably 3.5 weeks into their season. So we've got a lot of sports going on. In addition, we just finished registration for the James Island swim team, which is a summer swim team. We've got 150 kids signed up for that swim team. This is outside of the 330 that are already swimming year round with us for our SMART team. We're starting to work on some pools, getting them cleaned up and ready to reopen as our days get a little warmer. So we're happy about that. Right now, the only pool we have is MLK, so it'd be nice to get some other pools open as we get closer to May. We're still taking registration for a few summer camps, specialty camps, sports camps that we have some openings to. Swim lesson registration will be held in May. And we are working daily to get our reading partners. That's a program we've had before, but we've got funding thanks to City Council this year to re-engage reading partners with our summer programs at Arthur Christopher Community Center in St. Julian. And that group will come in and work with our school-age children during the summer months to stop or halt or try to slow down the summer slide of kids not reading, not being engaged in those things. To hope that they're ready to go back to school in August. So all of those things are ongoing. We are finishing our adult tennis program, USTA program. They're taking registration for the upcoming season, which is mixed doubles. And so that's what we're doing across the city in all of our programs. So all those fields that Jason's doing, we're piling people on top of them, and we need rain, but we want to keep playing. So we're hoping we get rain at times. We need it to rain and then dry when we need it to be dry. So, but yes, we've got a lot of things going on, but I think they're all good. The Cooper River Bridge Run is coming up. The city's been working on that, both the Parks Department and Recreation, along with Paul Wieters. And then March 31st, a week from today, Tennis in the City will be at 4 o'clock at Jack Adams Tennis Center. Any of you all that can come down, we'd love for you to do that. We're bringing our after-school programs from Wings, from Arthur Christopher, from the Shaw Center, and from St. Julian. Those kids will get to be on the court with some pros and some tennis instructors and have a great afternoon. We've also gotten some free tickets from Coco, and we're trying to pass those out. So got a lot of things going on. Hope to see you all out on the field or some activity and event sometime soon.
Great. Thank you. And I just want to throw this out there. Lori, I heard of the program. I mean, I think some of y'all will remember in the past, we couldn't offer swim lessons because of our lifeguard shortage, but it sounds like you guys have a really great concept moving forward. And it sounds like, I mean, we have swim lessons, so we're getting ready to roll those out. So
yeah, I want to give Steven Fernandez a lot of credit. He's our aquatics manager now. He's very soft-spoken. His superpower in life is that he is really good at hiring young folks. He's able to work really well with 16, 17, 18-year-olds. He does the certification for them. The city offers a certification at no cost. That's the program you were talking about, Councilmember Parker. If you're going to want to work for us, and we're not training everybody else's lifeguards throughout the Low Country, but we are training folks that want to come be a City of Charleston lifeguard. And I had a meeting with him Friday last week, and he reported that he's got the recruitment process has gone really well. We want to say thank you to HR. We are interviewing, we are hiring, we are certifying. So we're going to be ready to go. The problem that we've had nationwide with lifeguards and swim instruction is hopefully changing according to where we are today. So we're very happy about that.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's really exciting. I mean, I know Councilmember Waring, Shealy, you'll remember when we weren't having swim lessons because we couldn't staff the lifeguards. So really important here in the Low Country. So thank you for that. That's really exciting to hear. So
Chairwoman, if I may, Lori, one thing I do want to put on your agenda, particularly with the aquatics team, is we do want to have both internal staff, of course, but also the larger swim community weigh in on the schematic designs for WL Stevens and Johns Island. Want to make sure that they have input there. I've been approached by a couple of different folks who I think you know, and I think that the design and ultimately the programming will be better if we make sure those folks are engaged. So just want to put that out there, and we'll circle up with you on how best and when to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. I know those folks will be glad to hear it every month when I go to the board meeting for the smart parents. They're asking where we are on those two pools. So I know they're all anxious to give some input. So thank you for that.
all right. Thank you, everyone. All right, moving on. Thomas Johnson Park requests. This was put on by myself. I do have a few requests from them. As everyone knows, you may or may not know, this is a small community park, but it's sort of evolved into this really great large pickleball community. I mean, hundreds of people are there a day. They have even, I mean, ages 5 to 90 play pickleball there all together. If you drive by, there's always pickleballers there. It's a really, really wonderful community. I've also heard that people from around, like people that come in, tourists from downtown, I mean, pickleball is such a big thing now. These folks are coming from around the area just to play pickleball there because they hear it's such a great community of pickleballers. So really exciting. It's a really great, I'm glad that everyone's utilizing that park and we've got some really great folks over there. But that being said, they did have a couple very small requests, Mr. Consberg and Miss Yarborough. The picnic table, if we could give them, we have a larger picnic table in the area. If there's a possibility that we could move 1 or 2 of those over to the pickleball courts, that would be greatly appreciated. It does rain there. You know, when it rains, some of the water, there's some standing water and it's a lot of oaks. It's very nicely shaded, but they wind up with some standing water. So they did request a pickleball squeegee. I guess that's a thing for the court. The 2 others are really this request was made previously. The dominant line, since this is really, I know these were built as tennis courts, but now they are for pickleball courts. They are requesting that the dominant lines, the pickleball lines, be painted. And there were some cracks on the court, which I did notice in your maintenance sheet, Mr. Kronsberg, that was on the list to be replaced, that some of those cracks, because I believe that one was just resurfaced recently. So again, I didn't know if that's something that's easily, you can call the contractor and they can come out, but I did see it on that list. So those were just a few requests. I wanted to put it out there because, like I said, we have a really active and engaged community out there. So they'd appreciate any help. Okay.
Got it.
Moving on, Councilmember McBride, if you wanted to take E and F, I know he covered a lot in maintenance, but if you had any questions, I'll let you take.
Yeah, thank you, Councilman Burr. I'll take them together. Just basically, you kind of touched on it, Mr. Kronsberg, but I just want to be, really aggressive at putting information out to the public on the potential on the timeline of the development of both of these projects, especially the public input portion. I want to personally be able to know in as much advance as possible. Again, still being relatively new, I want to see how the process works, how the city takes in public input, and I want to amplify that as much as I can by making sure, or the best I can, to make sure as much public is aware. Because just generally speaking, on all projects at all levels of government, city, counties, and SCDOT, though a common complaint I get, I think we all probably get, is there's the official notification for public input, but 90% of the people don't hear about it, and then it goes forward, and they're like, "Wait a minute, who decided this? I never was able to give my input." So I want to try to do whatever I can to minimize that as much as possible by being very proactive about it and amplifying whatever the city does formally.
Yeah, as soon as we get that contract in place, just rest assured that a lot of the roadway projects, I do hear that and probably experience that as well. We will conduct a very robust stakeholder engagement, community engagement process with you, with the mayor's office, and anybody else who wants to join in. We will, again, advertise that through our communications office. And it's been a little while since we've done one of these, but I'll rest assured we will be engaging the public, all stakeholders, and all of your constituency.
For the first kind of formal public input, is there a general estimated month if that's coming up that you can?
I don't have that yet. We've provided a contract to the design team. They are marking it up, and hopefully we'll get that on the city council agenda. Once we get that contract finished, that'll have all the dates identified in it, and we'll be able to start publicizing what that process looks like.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, great. Any other questions regarding those 2 items? Councilmember Waring?
those two items, but Councilman Shealy had some land. I'm trying to pick your brain. It was down behind the old Hardee's that the city I thought bought with Greenbelt funds and gonna try to create some soccer fields or something. Um, you know what I'm talking about, Mr. Cronsberg?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the Woodland Road property. It was bought with Greenbelt dollars.
That's
Right.
right.
Is there any plans on that?
There's nothing currently on the books for that property. You know, a lot of times our Greenbelt projects are land banked.
Right.
Certainly reevaluate that and look at it with the mayor's office and the mayor.
Okay, is that a similar situation where I thought we bought 10 acres? I don't know, maybe it was on River Road or something with Greenbelt funds. Thought it had like a lake or something on it. And
Yeah, it's on Maybank Highway. It's about 25 acres. Most of it's wet. I think
Right.
the highland is very minimal. Again, that another Greenbelt purchase and no current plans on that. I know that the hospital project, we'd like to engage with the hospital project once they start moving forward to see how we can team up on something there.
Be great. Okay, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
We have that, obviously we have Bear Swamp property too,
Oh,
out,
yeah?
out there that's just kind of sitting and just an absolutely gorgeous piece of property. And Long Savannah's starting, so we're only going to have 5,000 new homes out there. So,
Is that it?
yeah.
Just 5,000. All right. Sounds
That was
good.
like 200 acres, right? Well, I know some of it's wet, but
200 acres, he said.
well, out Long Savannah, how many acres was it? Wasn't it something like 200? But I thought it was wet.
Yeah,
Some
the Bear Swamp property is 200 acres and there's a considerable amount of wetlands.
yeah.
There was a delineation done a few years back. I think it was up to 80 acres of wetland in there.
Okay. All right, great. I don't see any other questions, so we will move on. 5G, update on Parks and Recreation Master Plan General Obligation Bonds. Who is taking this one?
I can take this one. I'm sorry, I cannot make my camera work, so I'm not on camera. My apologies for that. But just to let you know, we on council tomorrow night is first reading for an ordinance for the GO bond for the Parks and Rec Master Plan. The three projects are the Johns Island Park, W.L. Stevens, and then Stephen Washington Park on James Island. We had rating calls today. So we will get our ratings next Friday, but that is on council agenda tomorrow night for first reading. And there's also a part B for the fire training facility and the remainder of the Municipal Operations Center as well.
You don't have a copy of that ordinance that you can share right now, do you?
I might have it. 1 second.
Thank you.
It's obviously with the packet too. Hold on 1 second.
Well, I'll ask a question while we're at it. So, if I read it correctly, we're taking basically a first draw of 40 million.
Yeah, so the referendum was for 70 million. This first borrowing is $40 million. With the remainder, we would have to borrow all of it within 5 years with a plan to do a second borrowing, which is what we talked about pretty much this whole time.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Mayor, Mystique, this may be for you, but so that 40 million, we're just saying we're utilizing it for those three items. Sorry, I can't pull up this ordinance right now.
And there is also a little bit, depending on what the projects come in that Jason's working on right now for estimates, a little bit unallocated as well for some smaller projects.
Right, but are we utilizing, so say that again, the bond money we are using for those smaller projects?
There's so it's 40 million in total, depending on what the two larger projects come in, or three projects really with Stephen Washington Park come in. There will be some unallocated portion to use towards other smaller projects.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay. So I'll be honest, y'all. I mean, I want to end on a high note here, but um, this bond referendum, I mean, discussion started, back in 2022. It was tough to get this over the finish line. We made it just in time. Obviously it came to fruition. We got it on the ballot, passed with 80% approval. But after years of requesting that we kind of implement a strategy or have, next steps regarding the prioritization of some of these items listed on this referendum, I just feel like we fell short on that. And these are great projects, but it kind of seems like we're eating up half of this bond for these two really big projects. And I certainly would have liked to see a little more, prioritization or anything done to where we're sort of touching on a lot of the items that we did put in this referendum, so that we can give that, kind of show that to our constituents. I mean, can you tell me, so out of that 40 million, have we, is 20 going here and 20 going there, or?
We don't know yet until we get a design. I mean, we're through the RFQ process. We know based on what the original breakdown, when the solicitation went out to the voters, what the estimates were for W.L. Stevens and for Johns Island. Stephen Washington wasn't part of it, but
Right.
it is now. So, but there was an allocation in there for additional work to parks, kind of is a catch-all. So those two are the ones that are most ready to go. So we're trying to expedite. And, if we can get the details on the balance sooner rather than later, I'm all for moving forward on them in short order.
Understood. I just think, we as a council know that there's a need. I was just sort of hoping that we would find funding from other, and I mean, we may have to. I mean, if these numbers don't cover what we plan to do on Johns Island and what we plan to do on W.L. Stevens, but it's just a very large chunk of the referendum that we aren't really, we're really not going to be able to touch on some of these other items, that we had hoped to touch on. So again, I just hope that moving forward, we can kind of put some type of plan together, a consensus. I mean, we have asked for it for a while, and haven't really gotten any direction. And then now we are kind of opening that spigot for 40 million on these two much needed projects, but we still have no.
Actually, just for clarity though, it's 3 projects and it's plus more.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering. I mean, you've listed like Stephen Washington, I didn't even think was part of the referendum. We're pulling that sort of the catch-all, like you said, which was a sort of in talks when we initially did that referendum, that's sort of what we were afraid of, that we were going to hyper focus and put these items on the list representing that to the voters, and then come off and use this money for, maintenance, deferred maintenance. Which is kind of what we're doing at Stephen Washington. And while that's in my district and I'm grateful, it's just, it wasn't kind of on the list. And I know that this committee had talked about just kind of putting a prioritization list together. And it just sounds like we're focusing on these two projects, which again is great. But I just hope that the next round of funds we can discuss, hopefully spreading it a little. I mean, like we said, Bears Bluff, just having some conceptual designs, Dill's Tract, having some conceptual ideas. I mean, I'm talking rough ideas, right?
Yep. That's the plan. That's absolutely the plan.
Okay. Well, that was the plan, I think, initially, but we're jumping right in, to get these done, which I guess is good. So, okay. Any other updates, Miss Wharton?
I don't have anything.
And the other thing is, I think council, the few of us that are here, I mean, this item is coming to recreation today, but it's on the council agenda tomorrow. So just again, normally we like to have these, if it comes to committee, the whole reason I thought we changed all of these dates was so that these can come and sort of sit in committee and then come, but this is sort of bam, bam. So just throwing that out there.
Ms. Warden, do we want to defer it off council for 2 weeks?
I would prefer not to.
Okay, but you don't need a motion from this committee since it's going to the Ways and Means. Okay. All right. Anything else?
Just Councilmember Parker, Stephen Washington Park is in the Parks and Rec master plan.
No,
it's included in it.
I know that, but I'm saying it wasn't sort of our itemized, it was the referendum, the way it was written was very open-ended, whereas I think those of us on council understood that, but the referendum to the voters, these were these were the priority items sort of listed, and then some of that catch-all deferred maintenance we were hoping wouldn't be utilized for that, but yeah. All right, Councilmember McBride.
I just don't want to leave you hanging. I agree with you. I hear what you're getting at, and I agree with you that, if a referendum lists certain projects and the voters like, okay, I'll vote for that, we have to be very, prudent to ensure that we're following through with what the referendum says, even if in the weeds, there's a lot of flexibility written into where the money goes. I just wanted to I agree with you, Councilwoman Parker. I just don't want to not say anything and just leave you hanging out there. And I think,
that's all right. I'm used to it. No, it's just, again, it's just sort of been working on this for many years, and it's great that it's coming to fruition. We've got some obvious great complexes, but like I said, half that bond is going towards much needed projects, but the city as a whole, as we always knew, 70 million is a BB in a bucket, and we were going to be spread pretty thin. And, so second phase, I hope that we can just do kind of what we initially thought we'd do, which is kind of have a plan for those dollars moving forward. So, all right. Moving on, Miss Cook, item H. I think we found a date, Miss Cook,
it's the third Thursday of the month before community development at 2.
So we talked last time about changing this meeting from just virtual to hybrid. So it will be in city council if you're available to join the third Thursday at 2 p.m. Community development will follow right after. So that will be April. Sorry, Ms. Cook. Help me if you have a calendar. Sorry. Well, 17th, correct? I think that's right. The third Thursday at 2 o'clock. Is that, I don't think we need a motion to move that, but just informing this committee. If everybody.
That's correct. I'm sorry. April 17th at 2, and Philip is sending out the updated calendar invites.
Okay. So again, would love for y'all to be there in person. I think I certainly enjoy in person rather than online, but it will be hybrid for those that can't attend. So if there is nothing else to come before this committee, we're adjourned. Have a good night.